You'd want to see the bearings out of this motor. This is our thrust washer. This is all the way, or thrust bearing. It's all the way at the back of the block. It has surfaces that the crank rides on, and this determines whether your crank is walking back and forth. If this is worn out, if this is showing copper, that means your crank counterweights have been smashing into it for years, and it's no good. Sadly, this is about the best looking bearing out of the bunch. This was our number 3, number 4. This is about midway through the motor. The oil pumps at the front of the motor on this. So it pumps oil, pressurizes from the front all the way to the back. So this should have got oil before this ever did. But it didn't. As you can see in the oil groove down there, it has rolled the metal into the groove. This bearing was getting oil from here, but this oil was not coming through this groove like it's supposed to. And then you got bearings like this that are shiny, but look down here in this oil hole. See the cracks? See the uneven edges in that? I mean, it's busted up there. Yeah, that's just some of the bearings that came out of this motor. We don't have to buy a new crankshaft. It comes in the appropriately named crankshaft box. Here's our pile of parts. Also, side note, I got to do a video on this. These brand of tools. I've had this for going on, hell, 4 years. Same 2 batteries. Ain't lost them yet. They still work fine. So, if you're in Walmart, grab one. Here's the front. Deep scratches in it. Here's a rod. The rods were, I guess, getting enough oil. But the mains definitely were not getting enough oil. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. But yeah, there's like a chunk missing out of that. And this is 1, 2, 3. See, this was our problem child. This is the first thing we seen this, and we said, okay, this crank needs to be turned. But then we dug down, we pulled a main off, and we seen that. Listen. Your crank shouldn't be able to play the xylophone. Yeah, no, that's not good. But that one's like that. That one's like that. This one. This one. See, it gets better. And then here's the thrust surface. That one, that would be, I don't know, man. In a tractor motor, I would deem that usable. But like, this was getting good oil, this wasn't getting good oil, and this was getting good oil. So something happened in this area. The main saddle in the block where this one or this one rode changed color. So enough heat was generated that it transferred into the block. I don't know, only time will tell. I do know when we were torquing and everything down that when we torqued number 3 down, the crank got harder to turn. Like, it still spins nice compared to what it used to, but it's still a little tight. And man, it bothers me. It's a fear of mine that we're going to put this together and it's not going to run for long. I'm hoping I'm wrong, because we've already sunk like $3,000 into this. This has to work. Never put $3,000 in a motor before, but it's a great deal. The machine, we traded about $3,000 worth of lumber for it. If you don't know, I haven't showed you, but we have a sawmill in the background. And yeah, $3,000 worth of wood. Still got more wood to cut for the oil order. That got this machine. And we'll look over the machine real quick. Look at these tires. Like, still plenty of life. And they hold air. None of them are flat. The only thing of concern was the gas tank sits down here. There's a big diesel tank that sits under the engine. And it had a oil line that connected to the bottom of the oil pan that drained out of this port right here. Focus. This one. That comes out here to that, and that's where you would drain your oil. Well, this engine, here's my theory. The hose that was connected between those 2 points, it was full of holes. My theory is that it had an oil leak, but since the diesel tank was underneath the engine, it caught all the oil, and it never made a puddle on the ground. So they never knew where it was coming from. They just knew they were losing oil, and they just kept dumping oil in it. But it got ran low one time, and it destroyed the bearings. The machine has definitely been through a couple hands. I mean, there's wires disconnected. This is for like your lights and stuff. All new loom has been ran on top of old stuff. The wiring is a rat nest. The seat needs to be replaced. We're rebuilding these front cylinders in the front. I just put this one together yesterday, and now I'm doing this one over here. Yep. Got a leaf. Don't let leaves get in your hydraulic cylinder. But when you're working in dirt, you know, I should name my channel Dirt Floor Garage. But I don't plan on keeping a dirt floor for long, so it would be a waste of time naming it that. I had another channel, but I got a new phone, and like an idiot, I couldn't remember my password, so I could not get back into the phone, or my YouTube account, so, they're out there, you can find them. Hell, I can't even find my own channel when I search for it. I have to just know it, I guess. I don't know. But some other projects that we have, they were on the old channel, was this truck. This monstrosity right here. This is a 2000, this is a 2000 GMC 6500. It had a 454 and an Allison in it. Well, the Allison was a good transmission, but the engine died. It drank water and busted a connecting rod. So if you notice from the outside, these trucks would never came with a 53-gallon diesel tank. The tanks actually used to sit where the straps are, because this engine now has, we look over here in the distance, right over, right there, you see that frame? Yeah. That is a OM62 Mercedes diesel frame, or that's the engine, the OM360 or 352. That's what this has in it, an OM352 Mercedes diesel from a 1979 truck. It was an 1117 Mercedes truck. It's got the engine and the transmission adapted to the drive shaft from the Chevrolet to the whatever gears are in that rear end. Truck's low geared as hell. First, second, third. Pull really hard, fifth, fourth, and fifth. They're just there for the show. We have another truck. It's going to get a 10 lug conversion. It's that F700 right there. That F700. It's a 6 Brazilian diesel engine in it. Allison transmission. Its injection pump went out like a month ago when we went to go get this machine. That truck was going to tow this machine to the house. And the day of, it started up, drove into that location right there, hooked up the trailer to it and everything, did some welding to the trailer. About lunchtime that day, we were ready to go get this beauty. That thing wouldn't start. No fuel pressure. Lost the fuel pump, the injection pump along the side. It's like a P pump on a Cummins. Yeah, same pump. But anyway, once it's fixed, it's going to get these on the back. These are 10 lug Super 40s, and those are Rockwell 10 lug axles out of a semi we got from our uncle. They're gonna go in that truck, not both of them. We got the tandem axle set, we got half the frame over there, but yeah, we're gonna use that rear axle. We got a 10 lug straight axle over there in the bushes. They need new brakes, new bearings. They need to be completely redone, but they're gonna go on that truck, so that we can run 22.5 tires and we can get away from running Dayton rims, because they're more expensive, aggravating, and they're prone to wobble, and they're hard to get straight. We do it, we make do, but tires, they're expensive. Like, all 6 of those tires are used tires that we bought, and we paid just as much for 6 used tires. We could have bought 6 brand new 22.5s. So we can find used 22.5s all over the place. Like, go on Facebook Marketplace, do a quick search, and you find hundreds of them on aluminum rims, on steel rims, whatever you want. So that's the route we're going to go with that. Hopefully all of that will be on this channel. Maybe one day I'll do some car stuff. I'd like to build a Fox body in a budget 302 or 351. I'm a Ford guy by, everything. I always do Ford stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'd like to build a small block Chevy one day. I don't hate Chevrolet. I just didn't grow up around them. Great motors. Always ran good to me. I mean, I've never seen one fail catastrophically because of a design failure. Usually user error. But yeah, we'll just see one day in the future. I do have another project I just purchased. I just picked it up. It'll be on the channel. Is this 1994 Honda Shadow. It has an 1100cc motor. It's a 1994, like I said already. But it has 4,118 miles on it. For a 93. It needs carburetors and it needs new clutch. But yeah, that's my first bike. So this is my channel. Hope you like it. I hope I become rich and famous one day, and I get to live like a king on YouTube salary. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to keep working on diesel engines because that pays the bills.